as he just withdrew his name from consideration. Let's talk about all of that with Larry Lindsey. Mr. Lindsey, it's so great to have you here with me. I guess just to start off on that news, can you explain to us why indeed you withdrew your name, and was it indeed a withdrawal on your behalf?
Oh, yes. I thought very hard about my life. I like my current life. I'm very involved with my children. I have a granddaughter. I enjoy my job. I started this company when I left government 22 years ago. I love my clients. I think they're wonderful people, and I'm involved in some side businesses. I have a very full and enjoyable life. And, you know, it's kind of a been there, done that for government service. And going into government service is more painful than it used to be. It's a much more hostile environment.
That is absolutely true. But you did at least put yourself in the running, or kept yourself in the running for some time. Is that because you care very deeply about this country, or because you also thought that maybe you would want to do this for a period of time?
Well, and perhaps both. But I've known Secretary Bessent a long time. I think it would have been a real pleasure to have been able to work with him. But in the end, my personal considerations won out.
Fair enough. I'd love to get your take on all sorts of things. I'm just going to start right now. I have to start with this latest threat from President Trump about potentially, quote unquote, massive new tariffs on China. The market is having a pretty sharp reaction on this Friday afternoon. The S&P 500 down about 2%. The tech sector off much more than that. What do you make of the president's threat?
Well, you know, this is par for the course. China cut access to rare earths, which are essential. The president has to do something in retaliation. He did not specify what exactly he's going to do, but certainly tariffs would be on the list. And, you know, it's very hard to say, well, just ignore it. But this is a passing thing. In the end, it's all going to be worked out. Or if it isn't, it's not this today that we have to worry about. We've got much bigger things to worry about. So if my recommendation, and especially to the Fed, would be ignore it. I mean, this is not an issue that's solvable by monetary policy, period.
You mean the back and forth tensions between the U.S. and China is not solvable by monetary policy?
Correct. Or the impact of not having rare earths, for example, is not solvable by monetary policy. It's entirely separate. It's a very unique, focused supply side issue.
Fair enough. I understand monetary policy may not be able to solve it, but if we levy larger tariffs on China on our imports, and then that raises prices for consumer, thus raising inflation, then doesn't that become a monetary policy to further solve?
I'm not sure that you want to do that. The reason is whenever the Fed cuts rates, it validates passing on price increases. As long as the Fed signals it does not want to validate them, I think it puts a lid on inflation. I think the worst thing the Fed could do is to signal to the business community, for example, you know, don't worry, you won't lose market share. We're going to signal that with a rate cut. That's not the way to handle this.
So what would you do then at the next meeting? You would just hold steady? You would not continue those rate cuts? You would just hold with that quarter of a point?
Well, I don't know how appropriate it is for me to answer that.
Why not? You're not a contender anymore? Private citizen?
All right. Fair enough, Courtney. No, I would stay pat. If I look at the labor market, what I see is it's soft, but not much different than one would expect, given that we've been in an extended expansion. The wages for lower-end workers are doing well. Supervisory workers got a much lower pay increase, according to the Atlanta Fed, than production and non-supervisory workers. If we were having real problems in the labor market, it would be that latter group that is going to have trouble getting wage increases. It's not so. And again, the Atlanta Fed wage tracker really signals no serious problems in the labor market. There's certainly uncertainty out there, but the uncertainty works both ways. And when in doubt, do nothing.